Welcome to Science Communications Viewpoint. I'm Ernie Bailey, and we're here discussing the education market and system integration in higher education. With me today is Steve Rynbrandt from SAIC. Steve, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
When we talked last time, we discussed what I, as a system integrator, or as a university, want from a system integrator. You know, what we expect and how we want to work together. As a system integrator, what do you need from the university?
A couple of things. Primarily, one of the first things we're going to talk about is the scope of the project. What are the services that you expect? And because that could be very wide-ranging. You could already have a concept of design in place. You might not have a concept of design, and you need assistance in developing the actual room programming. In that sense, meaning what the room's going to be used for. Knowing that information and knowing where we're starting is going to define what direction we go and what products and services we're going to offer to you. So.
Okay. If you're coming into a place, say you're a new integrator into my university, and I've got several rooms done by someone else, and I ask you to try to match as much as possible what they've done, do you have a problem with that?
Generally, no. Most systems integrators are very happy to fulfill that role. One of the more important things that they're going to be looking for when there's several rooms is, do we have access to the design documentation from the previous installation, things like as-built drawings, source code for control systems and audio processing systems, things along those lines. And I think it's very important for universities to keep that in mind when they're dealing with existing contracts, that they get that information, that data from their systems integrator, so that in the future, when change is practically inevitable, that they can go about it in a much more economical and much more efficient manner. That's what we look for. With those things in place, with that documentation in place, things going forward are really easy. And we just find out what's changed. We apply new technologies, and we come to a great solution for both parties involved.
Okay, great. We've mentioned that, we're a university market. We like to see education and continuing education. We also want to see our integrators educated. What type of educational programs do you run your people through to make sure they're ready to do what we want?
Well, certainly the industry standard accreditations or certifications from Infocom, the CTS program, the CTSD, the CTSI. Those are probably the main staples for the audiovisual industry, and I think those carry even more merit and more weight now that Infocom has secured the ANSI accreditation.
Correct. Infocom has established the ANSI ISO accreditation for their certification. So
absolutely, and I think that's it's important to us, and it's important to those of us that have that certification. Yeah. But I think, from your side of the ball, I think it's important too.
Okay. Well, like I said, you'll find that many of the university technology managers have their CTS certification. A good number of us have D's or I's.
Sure.
With that, right now, we need to take a break, and we'll be right back to continue our discussion.